A woman attends her sister's wedding only to discover there isn't a seat for her. What happened next split the entire family. So, a very busy businesswoman receives an invitation to her sister's wedding, and she's super thrilled and excited. She grew up really close to her sister, and she's so happy that she's finally getting married and just happy to reconnect with all her friends and family back in her town. So she goes shopping, she gets a dress, she gets all dolled up, and she's ready for a fun wedding weekend back home in her hometown. And she goes to stay at the most prestige hotel that they have in that town, only to find out that they do have a big event there at the hotel. That big event was her sister's wedding. So she's like, oh, wow, this is perfect. So she views this whole wedding weekend itinerary that the hotel has posted and sees all these events that weren't actually included in her invitation, but decides, you know what, I'm going to go to the first one anyway because, I'm the bride's sister. Maybe there was some type of mistake. And it was starting off with like some type of reception, dinner on Friday evening. On Saturday, they had planned like a fun girls' day where they just be hanging out, doing spa things, going out to eat, a little karaoke, and then they'd have a dinner that evening. She decided that she was gonna go. Sunday was the actual wedding, so that's the actual invitation that she received for that specific event. But she's there for the whole weekend, so she's ready to party. She shows up on Friday to, the reception, and she's not on the list. The hotel concierge is like, yeah, we don't have you listed. We don't have your name. What was that under again? She's like, I'm the bride's sister. She gives her name, and she's like, well, could somebody contact her, please? There's got to be some type of mistake. So she's calling and texting her sister. She's not answering. And then concierge is also doing the same. They just tell her to sit on the side for a couple minutes. And she starts to see, people from the groom side of the family, just people that she don't know, kind of get checked off the list and go right into the reception event. She sees some people that she does know from her side of the family, but like distant cousins. She says hello, she greets them, and yeah, I'll see you inside, and she sits down and wait. So concierge, they're on their speakers like this, their little earpieces, and then they finally call her over and say, so you're not on the list, you're not included in the count, so we can't, grant you access. She's like, what? Where's my sister? Like, call my sister. Do you know the bride? That is my sister. Can you get her on the phone, please? Or tell her to come here. She actually spots the groom's sister, kind of walking past and says, hey, come here. What's going on? Where's my sister? They're saying I'm not on the list. And the sister was just like, I don't know, I'll go find her, and went to go find her. She's pissed. She is pissed, and they tell her, well, we can't let you in. You can have a seat. We can't let you in. This is a hotel. You're staying here. You can go anywhere, but in this reception room. After about 15 minutes and 20 text messages, her sister comes out of the reception hall, and it's just like, oh my God. First of all, she's happy to see her. She's very happy to see her, but she's also feeling bad because she's at this event and she's not on the list. So, she tried to play it off at first, and she said, oh, I didn't expect you. I thought you were just coming Sunday. I haven't heard from you. And her sister's like, well, I've been texting you. I RSVP text that I would be coming, and I text you earlier this week letting you know I'd be coming on Friday. I haven't been getting any responses from you, and I just figured you're busy because you're preparing for a wedding. So, but like, I'm here. What's going on? Can't you just tell them to let me in? So her sister says, hey, let's step to the side, let's step to the side and talk for a second. And they do just that. And right away, she knew something was up because it's like why am I not going in? Why am I not going up in this party? Why are we stepping to the side? So she steps to the side and her sister says, listen, there's a whole bunch of things going on this weekend. If you're staying in this hotel, I know you're aware of it now, and I just don't want to embarrass you, but we didn't include you in any of these events. I only have you on the list for the wedding on Sunday. So her face is just stone, like, what? Why? That's pretty hurtful, after she was so excited, and it's her sister, her only sister, so she's really excited and expects to be with her celebrating this time. So her sister, she genuinely did feel bad, and she had to just keep it real with her and say the groom's family didn't like her because she openly disagreed with them over something years ago, and rather than confront the issue, they just keep her out of stuff, and she never noticed because she's busy living her own life. So she said they helped me plan this wedding and they're pretty much paying for it, so there were just certain things that when it came to the guest list, they were pretty much in control, and a lot of the family is really only at the wedding. So I'm really sorry. So the sister, apologized and said, listen, we're still going to have some time together this weekend. I still want you to be there at the ceremony. That's the most important part and really all that matters to me. So, she kissed her and said, give me a call tomorrow or later. Give me a call later tonight. And that was that. She went back up to her room. But she was pissed off. I mean, she was heated. She decided to leave, She did leave a gift with the hotel staff. And she said, here, this is for that wedding. Could you please make sure it gets to the ceremony on the gifts table? I'm going to leave. I'm going to be checking out. And she quietly left. And then she blocked her sister. She blocked her. So was she right to leave, or should she have stayed and supported her sister at the ceremony or whatever? What do you think? That was kind of messed up. Her sister could have stood her ground more. It's her wedding. But, some families have different circumstances and different dynamics. So it's not completely unbelievable that happened. But let me know in the comments what you think.